Sachin Tendulkar was one of the greatest batsmen of all time.
Slashed away, good shot.
Second only to Sir Donald Bradman.
Point of this match, and they'll look for a big start from here. We're in the Seba.
He amassed more than 15,000 test runs and was a great in the one-day arena. He was also a pretty capable leg spin bowler and was known for his great pull shots, cover drives, and cutting.
Sachin Tendulkar, well, he's not going to miss out on this.
He's also the most famous case of tennis elbow in human history. So what caused Sachin's tennis elbow? And what can you do about it if you have tennis elbow? Tennis elbow is also called lateral epicondylitis or lateral epicondylalgia. During 2003, he developed it and he had it for 2004, 5 and 6, so it lasted a really long time, but eventually needed to have surgery and only returned to full form in 2006. Now for most people, lateral epicondylitis is a problem with load. And imagine 150km/h balls hitting your bat all the time. That will send shock waves up your forearm, and you have to be really strong in your forearm, your wrist and your shoulder to be able to be resilient enough to do that amount of work. Now for you might be a chef, you might be an administrative worker or working on your laptop for long periods. If it's in a bad ergonomic setup, that's worse. If you're carrying things as a construction worker all day, that can do it, particularly if you're pulling things in front of you. Or if you're a racket sports player, badminton or tennis, that can also flare it up. The first thing you need to do, reduce your load. If you keep pushing into the pain, those 7 muscles which attach from your forearm to your lateral epicondyle are going to get sorer. Muscles insert into tendons and tendons do not heal well. They need time to heal. So if you continue with those aggravating activities, it's likely going to get worse. It might become more inflamed, it might become swollen. The posterior interosseous nerve, which runs down your hand, can get inflamed and you can get numbness in your hand. You may even get tears in your elbow, which make it even slower to recover. If that means you have to carry things less, try to do so. If you're holding 20-30 kilograms at a time, break it up into smaller pieces. Try to hold with an upright supinated palm position so your elbows are involved more, your biceps can help out more. You may even have to reduce your working hours, fix your ergonomic setup. You have to get the pain under control before you can begin your rehab to strengthen those 7 muscles. Now, how do you know you've got tennis elbow? Firstly, it'll be sore there, particularly when you make a clenched fist, when you extend your 3rd finger, when you cock your wrist like that and pull back and do that, and also when you fully bend your wrist like that. I'm going to show you how to strengthen all 7 of those muscles. One of the reasons why tennis elbow doesn't go away completely is if you do not have that holistic rehab, which targets all 7 muscles. They all do slightly different things. Some of them extend your fingers, some just do 1 or 2 fingers, some do your wrist extension, some do your forearm supination and pronation, and some just do hammer curls. So you want to target all of those muscles, and that's what the remainder of this video is about. So the first exercise is wrist extension. You should feel these muscles working, all of your wrist extensor muscles. Now the idea is to do it slowly and gradually. You should be aiming for at least 10 repetitions to begin with. In fact, if your tennis elbow is quite acute, maybe a bit more. Now you do not want this to be so heavy that it causes you pain. A 1, 2, or 3 out of 10 pain is okay, but anything beyond that is probably going to ache afterwards. If you are aching for hours or days afterwards, it's too much. You've gone too heavy. Equally, we do not want to see your elbow moving. It should not be going up and down. It's just all at the wrist. In fact, you could put your hand on your wrist to make sure all those muscles are working. Now, do not feel shy to start with a lighter weight. I've had people so weak and so sore, they've had to start from 0.5 kilogram. you want the affected elbow to at least match. So test out your unaffected elbow, find out how many repetitions of 3 or 4 kilograms it can do, and try to match it over time. The biggest mistake is to rush this. Now that exercise did all of your forearm extensors, whereas this one concentrates mostly on your brachioradialis. I think one of the reasons why tennis elbows don't get better is not all of the muscles which attach to the forearm and to the elbow are exercised. Same principles with the exercises. Do not go past 2 or 3 out of 10 pain. It should not ache afterwards for more than several hours. Now this one's radial deviation. For extensor carpi radialis brevis and longus, you got to keep that elbow nice and straight. Your goal is to get to that Indian club, hammer, mop, broomstick, whatever you're using up to the horizontal. Now if it's too hard to get to the horizontal, hold it further up the shaft. For extensor carpi ulnaris, it is the opposite direction. Ulnar deviation with a hold ideally at the top for a few seconds, slowly down and back up again. Again, we want to go at least to the horizontal. If that's too easy, get a heavier mallet or hold that mop or broomstick towards the end of its shaft. Now for your supinator muscle, we're going to hold your elbow by your side at 90 degrees and go all the way into eccentric pronation. You'll feel those muscles burn after a while. Do not lift your elbow out from the side. Keep your elbow nice and tight to your body. Again, if it's too easy, hold it further down the shaft. But if it's too hard, hold it further up. You want to be able to at least go to parallel with the floor. Finally, you want to get your fingers involved, your finger extensors, even your little finger. So extensor digitorum longus and extensor digiti minimi. You want to stretch it out, you want to hold back in slowly. If it's too easy, put those fingers right towards the tips of your fingers. If it's too hard, pull those fingers back closer to your palm. If you want to get really strong, get 2 bands and hold it around your fingers and put your fingers into it. It's really hard. These come in different strengths, and I often see people, particularly people on the keyboard, are really weak in finger extension because it's not something we practice very often. So there you go, guys. If you are getting really strong in some of those exercises, getting the unaffected side and the affected side to match, you're starting to lift a considerable amount of weight with your forearms. You're getting your fingers really strong with the power band. You're getting really good with those pronation supinations and those wrist cocking backwards and forwards, so into radial deviation and ulnar deviation. You're well on your way to recovering from tennis elbow. And you want to finish off by getting your grip and your forearm stronger, possibly by doing push-ups and pulls or rows, or even hanging from monkey bars. So these are the easier introductory exercises, kind of beginning to intermediate. We'll get into the more advanced stuff where you got to get your shoulders stronger, your upper back stronger, getting yourself stronger with your grip, like I said, with those pull-ups and push-ups, maybe even push-ups against a wall on your fingers, progressing to the floor. They're mostly for return to sport or returning to a heavy demanding job. For a lot of people, these exercises are enough to get over tennis elbow. But if you're still suffering from it, we'll show you all the advanced exercises in the next video. So if you like Sachin Tendulkar, you're a player, you're a batsman, we got to get your shoulders and your upper back stronger as well, not just your forearm. I'll see you in the next video.